What's up, beautiful people? Listen, come closer. I know what you're doing. Listen, I know that you are researching suburbs in the Wichita, Kansas area. Andover, Kansas is on your list, and you're looking for a place where you can find more information about the suburb. I got good news for you. You're in the right place. Today, I'm going to be giving you 5 pros and 5 cons of living in Andover, Kansas. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. My name is Regina Hill Goddard. I'm a real estate agent here in the Wichita, Kansas area, and I also relocated to this area almost 20 years ago. All right, guys, so I'm giving you 5 pros and 5 cons of Andover, Kansas. We're going to hop right into it. So Andover is located just east of Wichita, Kansas. It's approximately 11 square miles, and the population there is approximately 15,400. I'm going to go ahead and start with the 5 pros of living in Andover. So number 1 is that Andover has a very strong public school system. Yes. So Andover Public Schools, also known as USD 385, is one of the stronger school systems actually in the whole entire state. Now, many of the schools in the district meet or exceed some of the state academic requirements, and many schools have also received academic excellence awards. In 2017, there was a bond project that was approved, and as a result of that, the school district has been able to do some upgrades and renovation. So for one, Meadowlark Elementary School was completely rebuilt. They also have a new location called Career and Professional Studies Building. So this is a place where students can explore careers after high school. And also, Andover High School was able to get some upgrades to their facilities as well. And speaking of Andover High School, there is a website called usnews.com, and they rate all of the schools in each particular state in the nation. Now, there are 400 high schools in Kansas, and both of Andover's high schools made the top 10 list. So, that's saying a little something. In addition to that, according to greatschools.org, most of the schools in Andover receive an overall rating of 7 out of 10 or higher. So yes, Andover has a very strong public school system. Pro number 2 of living in Andover is the proximity to Wichita. So Andover definitely has that small town feel with the population floating around 15,000. However, even though you get that small town feel, it still has really great proximity to the Wichita, Kansas amenities, restaurants, entertainment, services, and maybe even your job if you're going to be working in Wichita. So depending on where you live in Andover, it could take you anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes to get into Wichita. If you're driving to the downtown area, it's going to be about a 20-minute drive. And to get to the airport, just 25 minutes. So you can't go wrong with Andover's proximity to Wichita. Pro number 3 of living in Andover is the convenience of the city. Okay, so Andover, right? Let me tell you a little bit something about Andover. And you may have heard me say this in my top 10 suburbs video, but pretty much everything you need in Andover is going to be located on one road. And that road is called Andover Road. It runs north and south right through Andover. And I would say 95% of the stuff that you need to access in your day-to-day life in Andover, you're going to be able to find on that road. So I'm talking grocery store, gas station, pharmacy, restaurants, and even the ER medical facility is just a couple minutes off of Andover Road. That would be one thing that's a little further away. And Andover also has its own YMCA location. So if you're looking for a place where you can go work out, register your kids for different sporting activities, you have that just east of Andover Road and Kellogg. So literally off of Andover Road, that's another like 2-3 minute drive, and you're right at the YMCA. So no lie, no kidding, 95% of the stuff that you're going to need is located right on Andover Road. So the bulk of Andover Road is approximately, I would say, 2 miles long. And in that 2 mile stretch, you've got 4 gas stations, guys. Four gas stations. There are some suburbs here in the area that don't have any gas stations at all. You have to drive into Wichita just to get gas. But Andover is definitely one of those suburbs where, day-to-day life, you're going to have your necessities. So you're not going to have to drive into Wichita every single day, unless you work there or something like that. But as far as being able to take care of your day-to-day needs, you're going to be able to do that. And it's all located right along Andover Road. So for sure, the convenience of having all of your necessities in close proximity is definitely a pro of living in Andover. Pro number 4 of living in Andover is that it's community-oriented and family-friendly. So Andover is the type of place where everybody kind of knows everybody. There's maybe only 2 degrees of separation between the people that you do know. You're going to be able to walk into your local restaurants and chit chat with the owners. Maybe the owners actually live in the city itself. So it's very, very community oriented. Everybody kind of knows everybody, very tight-knit, close-knit community. Now, some of the things that they have to really get the community spirit going are, for example, something called the Family Jam Fest. Now, when I was doing my research, I stumbled upon this. I've never heard of it, but it's actually happening this Saturday. So at this Family Jam Fest, they've got music, clowns, all kinds of stuff for the kids, food trucks, games. It's a whole good time. The Family Jam Fest is located at the Capitol Federal Amphitheater. And y'all, this is the spot in Andover where they have all the good concerts, festivals, all kinds of stuff like that. Just a couple weeks ago, they held the summer concert series. And I remember seeing a bunch of my friends on social media with their selfies and their video footage of the concert, and a lot of great bands came. Some of these bands I'm not familiar with because it's not really my genre, but Blues Traveler and Chris Young were some of the featured artists. So it looked like it was a really good time. And this is the type of place where you bring your lawn chair, maybe your blanket, and you just sit out there and enjoy the music. So that is a very popular location in Andover. In addition to that, every fall, the city of Andover has something called Greater Andover Days, and it lasts a couple days long. It's just a citywide fall festival. They have a parade, craft fair, car show, and a lot of other things that you can check out with your family. Now, as I said earlier, Andover has 2 high schools. So on Friday nights in the fall, you are going to be getting all of the Friday night lights feels. Everybody gathers down at the stadium to cheer on the football teams, and it's a really great vibe. So if you live in Andover, you are going to have no problem with feeling that community spirit and that sense of family friendliness. The last pro of Andover that I want to talk about is the nature and the outdoor space. So for being a smaller suburb, Andover has a really nice amount of options when it comes to parks, trails, and green space. Perfect for walking, just getting out of the house to get some fresh air, and also playing a little bit of disc golf. So 2 of the parks I want to make mention of are the Andover Central Park and the 13th Street Sports Park. So just a few minutes ago, you heard me talk about the amphitheater where you can go and watch the concerts. That's actually located in Andover Central Park. Now in this park, they've got 80 acres of green space. They also have Lake George out there where you can go fishing, and they have an 18-hole disc golf course. I need to go out there and learn how to play some disc golf. In addition to that, you've got plenty of green space, a dog park, and a playground. Now, the second park that I mentioned is the 13th Street Sports Park. This one just opened in 2024. Out in this park, they have baseball diamonds, sand volleyball courts, pickleball courts, a playground, and my 2-year-old's favorite, a splash pad. So you'll have to make sure that you go check it out. I even saw a family out there not too long ago taking some family photos. So if you're in the area, even if you don't decide to settle into Andover, I highly recommend that you go and check out those 2 parks. In addition to those 2 parks, Andover also has 3 golf courses, one of which is the award-winning Flint Hills National Golf Course, and the other one is the Teradyne Country Club. So Andover has no shortage of the outdoor space and the nature. That wraps up the pros. I'm gonna get right into those cons, but first of all, I just wanna thank you for being here, watching this video. Listen, if you are serious about your relocation research, I have something special for you. I have a relocation guide that kind of just breaks down some general information about the area. I feel like when you are trying to figure out where you're going to live, having too much information, I mean, there's no such thing. So make sure you go to the description box or in the comments. You can find a link to the relocation guide, download that. And if you're interested about scheduling a phone call with me to talk about your move to the area, my information is on the screen and also in the description box and pinned in the comments below. So let's get back to the video and talk about these 5 cons. Con number 1 of living in Andover is going to be the severe weather and risk of tornadoes. So you might be thinking, isn't like the whole Wichita metro area a risk of a severe tornado risk? Well, yes, but and also no. So let me give you some information. Now, I did a little bit of research on this, and in the last 30 years, the Wichita metro area has had 5 major tornadoes. So 1991, 1998, 1999, 2012, and then most recently in 2022. Now, out of those 5 tornadoes in the metro area, Andover has been hit by 2 of them, okay? So when it comes to all of the surrounding suburbs, Andover is the suburb that has been in the path of destruction the most number of times. Now, I wasn't here for the one that was in 1991. That one was a very devastating tornado. I was here for the one that happened in 2022, and thankfully there was no loss of life, but there was a lot of devastation to several homes, and also the YMCA had so much damage that it had to be completely rebuilt, and that one just opened in 2024. Now, with that being said, as long as you have a basement or a safe room, you're going to be good to go. Like I think I've mentioned this a couple of times, but since I've been living here in the last 20 years, so let's see, I mentioned all those tornadoes, and 1999 was the last major one 2012 was the last one that happened before the one in 2022. So since I've been living here almost 20 years, only 2 major tornadoes. When I say major, I mean an F3 or higher. So, I feel like tornadoes actually happen more often in other areas in the country than they do actually happen here, where we're more prone to them. We have a great weather system, warning system. So you're going to know we have the sirens, and just make sure that you are prepared. That's the best thing you can do. So you know where to go. Basement, safe room. If you don't have either one of those, just make sure you know where to go in the event that the tornado sirens are going off. The second con of living in Andover is going to have to be the taxes. Higher taxes, guys. And I'm talking about property taxes and your sales tax. So property taxes right now, it's 2025. Property taxes right now in Andover are 1.77%. And let me give you a couple other suburbs to compare it to. So Bel Air's property taxes are 1.64%, And Goddard's property taxes are 1.6%, and the property taxes in Wichita are 1.3%. Now, if you're living in an area with higher property taxes, some of your property tax costs are allocated to schools. So if you're living in a place with higher property taxes, some of that is probably in part due to going towards the schools, right? Schools need money for infrastructure, materials, all that good stuff. So, right, that makes sense. Now, your sales tax in Andover is also going to be higher. So sales tax in Andover is 8.5%. Now, what goes into your sales tax? 3 things are included: the state sales tax rate, the county sales tax rate, and then a local sales tax rate. So in Andover, state sales tax is 6.5% in Kansas. Andover is in Butler County, and they do not have any extra sales tax for the county. And then the last thing that they do have, though, is they have 2 different local taxes that are added on. So they have a 1% tax that is specifically for street upgrades. And then the other 1% tax they have is called the Family Future Forward Tax. Family Future Forward Tax, yes. So this tax was put into place to help fund fire stations and park projects. And to my understanding, the 13th Street Sports Park that I just mentioned in the pros portion was funded in part due to this 1% Family Future Forward Tax. Now, the Family Future Forward Tax is a temporary tax that is slated to last no longer than 8 years, and it was officially implemented in April of 2022. And again, with the sales tax, let me give you something to compare it to. In Wichita, sales tax is 7.5%, and that includes the 6.5% Kansas tax, and then Wichita has a 1% Sedgwick County tax. So in Andover, your taxes are going to be a little bit higher than Wichita and the surrounding areas. The 4th con of living in Andover is going to have to be the lack of big city amenities, the lack of stuff to do. Now, earlier I mentioned that Andover is very convenient because you've got all of your necessities located right there in Andover Road. But when it comes to things outside of the necessities, you are going to have to drive into Wichita to access any of those things. So if you're looking for bowling, if you're looking for, trampoline park for the kids, so I'm talking anything related to nightlife, bigger art festivals, big concerts, sports games, A-list music artists. Those sorts of concerts are going to happen downtown at the Interest Bank Arena. If you want other high-end restaurants, you're going to have to get out of Andover for that as well. And the biggest thing I think that Andover doesn't have, the biggest knock on Andover, is the lack of retail shopping. There's pretty much no retail shopping in Andover. The only retail shopping that I know of is at the grocery store. So Dillon's is our big chain grocery store here. And then they have a couple of these specialty Dillon's stores, which is called the Dillon's Marketplace. And in the Marketplace stores, they have a small retail section. So you can find some clothing items from babies all the way up to adults. And they also have a small shoe section in the Marketplace stores as well, alongside all the grocery items. So they do have one of those in Andover. So if you absolutely need to get something emergency clothing wise, you could go there. There's also a Goodwill store in Andover as well. But outside of that, you're definitely going to have to head into Wichita to access some retail shopping. So for sure, you've got your necessities in Andover, but the other amenities, it's pretty limited. The next con of living in Andover is going to be the lack of public transportation. Now, here in the Wichita metro area, we don't have a whole lot of options for public transportation, but But in Wichita, you do have the public bus system and the Q line that'll take you to the downtown area. When it comes to Andover, there's no public transportation. However, the county, Butler County, where Andover is in, does have a public transit system. The only downside is that you are going to have to call and make a reservation, and the times are very, very limited. To get set up with the public transit system in Butler County, it's going to cost you anywhere from 50 cents to $4 per ride. So if you're going to be living in Andover, you need to have a car or some money for some Uber or Lyft rides. The last con of living in Andover is going to have to be the higher cost of living. Now, overall in the Wichita metro area, affordability is going to be much lower than the national average. But when we're just looking at Wichita and the surrounding suburbs, Andover is going to be one of those suburbs where the cost of living is going to be on the higher end. The average household income in Andover is $107,000, and the average sales price for homes right now is $300,000. Currently on the market, there are only 5 homes that are at $250,000 or less. There are 83 houses between $250,000 and $500,000. And there are 36 homes currently on the market listed at $500,000 or higher, with the highest asking price currently on any house right now in Andover at $2.3 million. So it's a little bit higher than some of the surrounding areas, but I still think it is pretty affordable. Now, if you're thinking about new construction, Andover does have some up and coming new construction locations. You can actually get into a brand new home for just under $300,000. If you want more information about those homes or new construction in general, feel free to reach out to me and I will get you that info. When it comes to renting in Andover, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment is going to run you around $1,000 a month, and a 3-bed, 2-bath townhome is going to be about $1,600 a month. So that's a quick look at the pros and cons of Andover. So here's your assignment today. You have to let me know in the comments, what was the most surprising thing that I said? Was there anything that caught you off guard, anything that you didn't know? So let me know right down in the comments. Listen, if you're looking for a suburb where they're gonna have top-rated schools, a strong sense of community, and that gives you that small town feel, Andover might be the perfect fit for you. Now, every city has its trade-offs and Andover is no different. It's really all about just figuring out what feels like home. And if Andover isn't your vibe, but you're not quite sure where you want to settle in, that's what I'm here for. Reach out to me so I can help you with your transition, help you decipher between all of the suburbs so that you can find the space that's going to be perfect for you. My information is on the screen. Don't forget to grab that relocation guide. And of course, like the video, subscribe to my channel, okay? Until next time, my friends, peace, love, and many, many blessings. I will talk to you then. Bye.